Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Bypass. Descent with a parachute. Cuz to jump or leap. The trainer jumped the tiger through the hoop. Pass abruptly from one state or topic to another. Jump to a conclusion. Rise in rank or status. Her new novel jumped high on the bestseller list. Run off or leave the rails. A sudden involuntary movement. Go back and forth. Swing back and forth between two states or conditions. Move or jump suddenly, as if in surprise or alarm. A sudden and decisive increase. A jump in attendance. An abrupt transition. Start. A car engine whose battery is dead, by connecting it to another car's battery. Move forward by leaps and bounds. Can you jump over the fence? Jump from an airplane and descend with a parachute. Be highly noticeable. The act of jumping, propelling yourself off the ground. He advanced in a series of jumps. Jump down from an elevated point. The parachutist didn't want to jump. Enter eagerly into. He jumped into the game. Film. An abrupt transition from one scene to another. Increase suddenly and significantly. Prices jumped overnight. Make a sudden physical attack on. The muggers jumped the woman in the fur coat. Rub with a circular motion. Travel across or pass over. Bypass. Make a passage or journey from one place to another. Fly over. Jump lightly. Bypass. He skipped a row in the text and so the sentence was incomprehensible. A mistake resulting from neglect. Bound off one point after another. Leave suddenly. Skip town. Cuz to skip over a surface. Intentionally fail to attend. A gait in which steps and hops alternate. Bypass. Descent with a parachute. He had done a lot of parachuting in the army. A light, self-propelled movement upwards or forwards. Cuz to jump or leap. Pass abruptly from one state or topic to another. Leap into fame. A sudden and decisive increase. An abrupt transition. A successful leap from college to the major leagues. Move forward by leaps and bounds. The child leapt across the puddle. Jump down from an elevated point. The widow leapt into the funeral pyre. The distance leapt, or to be leapt. A leap of 10 feet. Go upward with gradual or continuous progress. Did you ever climb up the hill behind your house? Rise in rank or status. Appear to be moving upward, as by means of tendrils. Get up and out of bed. An increase in cost. They asked for a 10% rise in rates. Return from the dead. Christ is risen. Theology, the origination of the Holy Spirit at Pentecost. A movement upward. They cheered the rise of the hot air balloon. Rise up. Increase in volume. Come up, of celestial bodies. The sun also rises. The amount of salary is increased. The act of changing location in an upward direction. Go up or advance. A wave that lifts the surface of the water or ground. Move to a better position in life or to a better job. Rise in rank or status. Come into existence. Take on form or shape. Increase in value or to a higher point. An upward slope or grade, as in a road. The car couldn't make it up the rise. Take part in a rebellion. Renounce a former allegiance. The property possessed by a slope or surface that rises. Increase in price or value. Become more extreme. Come to the surface. Move upward. Rise to one's feet. A growth in strength or number or importance. Exert oneself to meet a challenge. Rise to a challenge. Run off or leave the rails. The train derailed because a cow was standing on the tracks. Cause to run off the tracks. They had planned to derail the trains that carried atomic waste. Get off the ground. Who started this company? Bulge outward. The time at which something is supposed to begin. They got an early start. Begin work or acting in a certain capacity, office or job. Start a new job. Get going or set in motion. We simply could not start the engine. A line indicating the location of the start of a race or a game. Have a beginning, in a temporal, spatial, or evaluative sense. Prices for these homes start at $250,000. A signal to begin, as in a race. The starting signal was a green light. Bring into being. A turn to be a starter, in a game at the beginning. He got his start because one of the regular pitchers was in the hospital. Set in motion, cause to start. The U.S. started a war in the Middle East. Take the first step or steps in carrying out an action. Who will start? Begin an event that is implied and limited by the nature or inherent function of the direct object. She started the soup while it was still hot. A sudden involuntary movement. He awoke with a start. Begin or set in motion. I start at 8 in the morning. Have a beginning characterized in some specified way. Leave. Move or jump suddenly, as if in surprise or alarm. She startled when I walked into the room. The advantage gained by beginning early, as in a race. With an hour's start he will be hard to catch. The act of starting something. Play in the starting lineup. The beginning of anything. It was off to a good start. A sudden involuntary movement. Move or jump suddenly, as if in surprise or alarm. She startled when I walked into the room. To stimulate to action. The loud noise startled him awake. Be an understudy or alternate for a role. Reverse, a direction, attitude, or course of action. Do something in turns. Serving or used in place of another. Go back and forth. Swing back and forth between two states or conditions. Occurring by turns, first one and then the other. Someone who takes the place of another person. Every second one of a series. The cleaning lady comes on alternate Wednesdays. Exchange people temporarily to fulfill certain jobs and functions. Of leaves and branches, etc., first on one side and then on the other in two ranks along an axis, not paired. Stems with alternate leaves. A light, self-propelled movement upwards or forwards. An abrupt transition. Taking a series of rhythmical steps and movements in time to music. Genetics. A mutation that drastically changes the phenotype of an organism or species. Geology. The leaping movement of sand or soil particles as they are transported in a fluid medium over an uneven surface. Start or restart vigorously. Start. A car engine whose battery is dead, by connecting it to another car's battery. Starting an automobile engine that has a weak battery by means of jumper cables to another car. Start or restart vigorously. The Secretary of State intends to jumpstart the Middle East peace process. Start. A car engine whose battery is dead, by connecting it to another car's battery. Starting an automobile engine that has a weak battery by means of jumper cables to another car. My battery was dead, so I had to get a jump start from my neighbor. Form the boundary of, be contiguous to. Bound by contract. A light, self-propelled movement upwards or forwards. Spring back. Spring away from an impact. Covered or wrapped with a bandage. An injury bound in fresh gauze. The greatest possible degree of something. What he did was beyond the bounds of acceptable behavior. Usually followed by to, governed by fate. Bound to happen. Headed or intending to head in a certain direction, often used as a combining form as in college-bound students. Children bound for school. Place limits on, extent or amount or access. Move forward by leaps and bounds. The horse bounded across the meadow. A line determining the limits of an area. The line or plane indicating the limit or extent of something. Bound by an oath. A bound official. Confined by bonds. Bound and gagged hostages. Confined in the bowels. He is bound in the belly. Held with another element, substance or material in chemical or physical union. Secured with a cover or binding, often used as a combining form. Bound volumes. The elasticity of something that can be stretched and returns to its original length. A light, self-propelled movement upwards or forwards. Spring back. Spring away from an impact. A natural flow of groundwater. Develop into a distinctive entity. Move forward by leaps and bounds. The season of growth. The emerging buds were a sure sign of spring. A metal elastic device that returns to its shape or position when pushed or pulled or pressed. The spring was broken. A point at which water issues forth. Develop suddenly. Produce or disclose suddenly or unexpectedly. Rescue equipment consisting of a device that fills with air and retards your fall. Sloping channel through which things can descend. Jump from an airplane and descend with a parachute. Rescue equipment consisting of a device that fills with air and retards your fall. Jump from an airplane and descend with a parachute. Be highly noticeable. Be highly noticeable. Jump out from a hiding place and surprise someone. Distinguish oneself. Be highly noticeable. Be stubborn in resolution or resistance. Steer away from shore, of ships. Put up with something or somebody unpleasant. Extend out or project in space. Be highly noticeable. The act of jumping, propelling yourself off the ground. The jumping was unexpected. The act of participating in an athletic competition in which you must jump. Jump down from an elevated point. Every year, hundreds of people jump off the Golden Gate Bridge. Set off quickly, usually with success. Get up on the back of. Fail to perceive or to catch with the senses or the mind. I missed that remark. Fail to experience. Fortunately, I missed the hurricane. A young female. Be without. There is something missing in my jewelry box. Leave undone or leave out. How could I miss that typo? A failure to hit, or meet or find, etc. A form of address for an unmarried woman. Fail to attend an event or activity. I missed the concert. Fail to reach. The arrow missed the target. Fail to reach or get to. She missed her train. Feel or suffer from the lack of. He misses his mother. Leave undone or leave out. Disregard intentionally or let pass. Leave undone or leave out. Prevent from being included or considered or accepted. A shape that is spherical and small. He studied the shapes of low-viscosity drops. Remove, cargo, people, etc., from and leave. Drop off the passengers at the hotel. Grow worse. Fall or descend to a lower place or level. A sudden sharp decrease in some quantity. A drop of 57 points on the Dow Jones Index. A free and rapid descent by the force of gravity. It was a miracle that he survived the drop from that height. Let or cause to fall in drops. Stop associating with. They dropped her after she had a child out of wedlock. Pay out. A small indefinite quantity, especially of a liquid. He had a drop too much to drink. Get rid of. Cause to fall by or as if by delivering a blow. Hang freely. The light dropped from the ceiling. A steep high face of rock. A steep drop. Stop pursuing or acting. Drop a lawsuit. Leave undone or leave out. A curtain that can be lowered and raised onto a stage from the flies, often used as background scenery. Lower the pitch of musical notes. A central depository where things can be left or picked up. A predetermined hiding place for the deposit and distribution of illicit goods, such as drugs or stolen property. Change from one level to another. She dropped into army jargon. Fall or sink into a state of exhaustion or death. Shop till you drop. Give birth. Used for animals. The cow dropped her calf this morning. Go down in value. Stock prices dropped. Let fall to the ground. Don't drop the dishes. Lose a game. The Giants dropped 11 of their first 13. Omit a letter or syllable, in speaking or writing. New Englanders drop their post-vocalic Rs. Take a drug, especially LSD, by mouth. She dropped acid when she was a teenager. Terminate an association with. Drop him from the Republican ticket. The act of dropping something. They expected the drop would be successful. To fall vertically. The bombs are dropping on enemy targets. Utter with seeming casualness. Drop a hint. Leave undone or leave out. Prevent from being included or considered or accepted.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.